Hello there, hi, hope you're having a good day. I just thought I'd do a short video because something came up today on Twitter and there was a tweeter, I'm not sure, it's the account is Hi, I'm Rupert, and there's a picture of a little bear, so I'm assuming it could be a he or she, I don't know, I don't want to misgender the bear. No, but seriously, it's a serious matter, but not about the misgendering. Not about that. It's to do with that they'd made the point that in the videos I've said, and I have said a number of times, that the neonatal unit was at a level 1 at some point in 2014, then it was upgraded to a level 2. And as we know, then it was eventually downgraded in July 2016. Apparently now, well, not apparently, but in actuality, that is not correct. The first part of it's not correct, in that, as Hi, I'm Rupert says correctly, and has helped make a correction here, is that the neonatal unit was always a level 2. It was always a level 2. And I'm just going to check this little thing here. National Neonatal Audit Programme from 2010. The tweeter, Hi, I'm Rupert, advised me to look up there, which I've done, and you can see that the Countess of Chester Hospital is a level 2 unit back in May 2010. So yes, it was all the way through. So what does that mean then? I suppose what it means is that in some of the videos and in some of the other research that's been done from other sources, and that's where I got the original, from another source I got the original assumption or the idea that it had been upgraded in 2014, but that now we're seeing that isn't the case. It was always a level 2. So what is the implication of that now then? I suppose one implication is that it's been used in the past in some of the ways we've been looking at this in the videos that I've done and in other sources, to say that part of the reason that there's been this spike in deaths in 2015 and 16 was due to a higher acuity, a higher level from going from level 1 to level 2. But now that's obviously not the case, so it pushes it further into the idea of a very severe outbreak of sepsis over that period of time. We're talking about mid 2015 until mid 2016. It's interesting this, I'm just trying to work out what the implications of it are now, because we've been going forward. We've been going onwards as though that was the case, that it had gone up in level in 2014, towards the end of 2014, and so that accounted for the spike to some degree. Not wholly, because of the higher acuity. But what's not clear here is that, irrespective of whether it was a level 2 in 2012, 2013, 2014, well, back to 2010, and maybe before that, and still level 2 in 2015 and up to July 2016, what I'm not sure about is, were there more babies that were being needed to be looked after in 2015 and 2016 at a higher acuity level for other reasons, even though it was all level 2 all the way through? Was there was there an increase in acuity and the amount of babies, and a higher ratio of babies to, I don't know, you say rate, you know what I mean, fewer staff related to the number of babies in 2015 and 2016 in comparison to 2014, 13 and 12, when they're averaging about 3 to 4 deaths a year. So that's something that I don't know anyone's done any comparisons on, or if it's out there at all, or if it's possible to do it. So, you can still be at the same level, but there could still be a greater influx of babies. How many were cared for in 2015 in comparison to 2014, 2013? playing devil's advocate. No, that's not the right phrase in this situation. On one side of things, for the people that believe that Lucy Letby is guilty, they'll say, well, yeah, that further goes to it then, that it was level 2 all the way through, but there was this massive spike in 2015 and 2016. But to challenge that, there's always another way to look at it, and the way I look at it, because I utterly believe that Lucy Letby's innocent, is that Lucy Letby is in that unit across all of 2012, all of 2013, and all of 2014, and the first half of 2015, in which across that period of time, there are no apparent unexpected or unexplained deaths. There's a certain amount of deaths, but they're at a relatively much lower rate, at three or so a year. We're back to the conundrum of why a nurse works in a unit for 3.5 years and then starts to murder babies at a very, very quick rate, within 10-day period, three murders or so in June 2016, and then an attempted murder in that same period. It doesn't make sense at all, does it? So you can look at it to the advantage of the people that believe in Lucy's innocence, in the sense that, well, yeah, it shows that she was on that ward, even though it was a level 2, and with higher acuity babies and babies down to 27 weeks gestation all through those years, all through 2012, 2013, 2014, first 6 months of 2015, with no problems, and then this sudden rush to murder in like between a week and 2 weeks, like a massive outpouring of attacks and murders in a very short space of time. It works that way in terms of the reasoning, in terms of the likelihood of that. It just seems absurd. It's crazy. You have talking about gestation periods. You have a gestation period of 3.5 years. And then you suddenly go for it, or full on, a gestation period of doing nothing. And that's why, in a way, Evans is trying to, in conjunction with Cheshire Police and the CPS, trying to find some more crimes further back, because it doesn't add up, because it doesn't make logical sense that somebody works there for 3.5 years and then suddenly that June, suddenly that summer, just starts really going crazy. Because the figures for those 3.5 years that Lucy was there, they're the normal kind of rate for that level of unit, But what is there is, well, what certainly is there is mention after mention after mention of sepsis in all the babies that end up crashing and dying. So that's what the spike is, and that's what the theory's been all the way through, or the hypothesis. It's that plus that's the thing, we don't have the data to really compare what was the ratio of doctors and nurses to babies in 2014 in comparison to what was going on in 2015 and 2016. So we don't have that, and we don't have I don't know if there's a way of finding it out, how do you measure these things? How many very, very unwell or very premature babies were in 2014 as related or in comparison to 2015 and 2016? Excuse me. And the other little thing I wanted to say is that I think I came across it sort of by chance, something from The Independent, a short little bit of film, which was taken in September 2021. Right, so that's post Lucy Letby's final arrest. So Lucy Letby is on remand in prison, sadly, at that time. But it's obviously before the trial. And what it is a nurse showing the old neonatal rooms of the unit that Lucy Letby worked in. and they're all empty, but there's some equipment in there, but they're not being used as the neonatal rooms. And I'll put a link below to that short bit of film. So that's September 2021, and the nurse showing the the camera around for people to see. He's just saying, this used to be this room, this used to be that room, this was the nursery, this was that. And she said, oh well, everything's changed once we'd moved into our new neonatal unit. Now I don't know whether she means when she says that it was an extension built on the old one with brand new, or was it a completely new building nearby? I don't know. I'd heard before that the new unit, for which they've been raising funds for a number of years, and Lucy Letby was part of that fundraising when she first joined the unit. They were raising funds, several £1 million, to improve the unit. Now, whether that meant a complete new building or an extension with the bigger rooms and more space, which is what they wanted, I don't know. But what we see is the old rooms obviously not being used, and the date of that film is September 2021. Clearly, those rooms would have needed to have been used up to the point that the new or either new building or extended old building with the new rooms in it was ready, because otherwise they had to keep the service going, obviously. When exactly that happened, I don't know, and whether it was a new build or just a sort of an extension that they then just moved across into, leaving these old rooms, as they show in the film, September 2021, leaving them empty, but with you can see some equipment there, some old bits of equipment. But they're obviously not being used as part of a neonatal unit. And we don't know, and I don't know whether they were, because it up to this point was kind of heard sort of a generalisation about it, that the old building had been demolished. Well, certainly up to September 2021, it's all there. I'm not sure what they end up doing with those rooms. Do they demolish them after that? I don't know. Or are they still there now and they're just completely repurposed and they're used for other things? I don't know that. But it's sort of changed the conception that I've had, and I know other people, when they talk about it, have sort of said in a general way, oh, it was all demolished. Maybe it was in the end. Maybe it was subsequent to September 2021. The point about that little film that I'll link below is that it was seen by the jury to give them a sense of what those neonatal rooms and nurseries where Lucy Letby and the others worked, what they looked like, what the layout was like. I don't know whether they made that film specific to that purpose because they knew they were going to demolish it or change it, make it unrecognisable, because as I say, that's from September 2021, so it's after the final arrest, and Lucy Letby is on remand, and obviously they're building up towards a court case the following year. Just about a year and a month away, isn't it? From September 2021 to the next year. What does that mean? And then there's the aspect of the drainage system, which again, as a generalisation, people have said in various sources was completely ripped out and replaced. But what does that actually mean? I don't know. Depends what was the structure of the new unit. Was it an extension of the old 2-storey building, or was it a separate thing with its own new drainage system, brand new system? And then once that was fully online, maybe those old neonatal unit, the 2-storey building, was demolished completely. I just can't find that out for some reason. It's because you can only get a certain amount of information, really. I mean, I suppose I did try ringing the hospital today to ask them about when they became a level 2, but I couldn't get through. But anyway, because of that, the tweeter, hi, I'm Rupert, is their name, sent me to the documents that showed quite clearly that from 2010 and probably before, it was a level 2. Anyway, I hope that makes sense, but I think it's important that, and I'm sorry for the incorrect information that I've been stating, but it's it's all with goodwill, and the source where I got it from, it's all obviously with goodwill. It's nothing. There's so much to find out about this situation, and it's not always easy to be 100% right. We're learning as we go here. But I think the way I look at it in those terms is that, they had a low rate of deaths for 3.5 years when Lucy was on that unit at a level 2. At a level 2 unit then, from January 2012, which is when she started, formally on that unit, I believe. She graduated the December or whenever it was before, in 2011, whatever month it was, and starts in 2012, has a 3.5 year run, low rate of deaths on this unit, and then it just crystallizes actually about something's gone drastically wrong with that unit. And what is it? What is the thing we all know is going wrong there? It's that drainage system. It's that drainage system which ends up getting replaced, either by means of having a brand new unit slightly apart or extended, and then I don't know how they've done it. I don't know how they've physically done it in terms of the building aspect of it. As I say, they obviously had to keep the old one going until the new one was online, ready to move into. Anyway, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that makes a difference there. There's things there's known unknowns, isn't there? The known unknown is what other differences are there, could there have been between the intake of babies relative to staff between 2014 and 2015 and 2016, for example. That's just one element, but then if one of the main ideas here is that sepsis really got a massive hold within that unit due to the hospital wastewater problems, both in the drainage aspects of the unit itself and the pipes running across above the ceiling in the crawl space above as well. But anyway, I thought it was worth talking about that. I think I'll try and do another, possibly 4 parts to the series of Lucy Letby, A Different Story. I had thought it would be something like the trial. I don't want to go too deep into it. I'm reading more about it as much as I can, but I'm not going to I'm just looking for sort of summary, salient points that will have come up in the other parts probably, but no harm to reiterate them. And then the other 3 parts would be the media and the public reaction. That's another one. And I've done this deliberately, I've left Lucy sort of pretty much to the end in a way, because as I said in one of the parts, is, if not her, it would have been someone else they tried to blame, I think, most likely. She was ripe to be blamed because she was there so much and she was so conscientious, but I think they would have blamed someone else. But obviously it is all about her, but the reason to set it up in this way, in terms of kind of moving structurally from the hospital to the consultants to the police, the management aspect of it before, and the so-called experts, it just shows you what they're all the elements of the trap that entrap Lucy Letby. And now we see the victim of those collective forces. So that will be that element there, and then hopefully I might say a bit about the notes, the green note and the yellow note, etc. I don't think they're complicated really in terms of what they actually are. I think it's quite self-evident looking at them once, But nonetheless. And then the final part, I just thought it could have a title like something like The Future, which is talking about, well, what is going to happen, and maybe that one, but I'd save that one until we hear something about the appeal, or the application for leave to appeal. Maybe that. But it's to do with the future and what needs to happen. And I sent a couple of emails today to Richard Thomas, the solicitor, and Ben Myers, suggesting, if they haven't already, to look at Dr. Scott McLachlan's work, for example, but as a very, very, very definite one to go to. And I think his work is amazing, and he's just put out another Substack today in relation to baby G, the baby that was, according to Evans, sick all over the nursery when it clearly wasn't all over the nursery, but giving reasons, other really powerful reasons for why, or at least asking questions about what the other causes might have been, including a vaccination that Dr. Breary gives this baby at a certain point. But I'll link that below as well. So maybe another 4 parts, I think. Anyway, I think that's it. Take care. Well, hope we do hear something soon about that the leave to appeal is granted. And then there's the weird thing that if that takes about 6 months, as some people would say, to get a hearing, the actual appeal hearing, then that's running up pretty much almost in alignment with the date that they say that they're looking, early June to retry the baby K attempted murder case. And I had a message from Andy Ryan, thank you, and to mention the retrial of that case. And we're not supposed to be talking about it, but I'm not saying anything that's not in the public domain anyway, that it's going to be retried, then why are they choosing that? And I think Andy says, or Andy did say, that it's like another nail, it's an attempt to do put another nail in the coffin of Lucy Letby's fate, as it were, and I can see that as well. It's just an odd choice out of all the ones that didn't reach a verdict, to choose that one. And it's one of the only cases, I think, one of the very few cases in which, air embolus isn't an issue. It's all down to a particular witness, really. I won't go into that too much. I'm not trying to court a problem in terms of contempt of court, of course I'm not, but there's so much out there, and the newspapers are still reporting all about it. So, this shouldn't mean that we're not allowed to say what's out there in the public domain already, does it? I don't think so anyway. If I'm suddenly not here, it's not, they've had me, I don't think they would, because, it's like I was looking at one of the things from Chester Standard today, and that's all out there in terms of that case I just mentioned, what the interactions were at the actual trial. So what's being said, is it that can stand and that can all be out there, but you just mustn't look at it, even though it's there on the internet, or you mustn't copy and paste it to a tweet or talk about it in a video, even though it's publicly out there. It's published material. So I was talking to my friend, and we talked about this, and I think it's just a general sense that they want to put a chill on people who are asking questions about this. They want to put a chill on it. And for people not to know what the parameters are, or what they can and can't say. And obviously, I won't go into the personalities, but certain journalists, they just folded like a cheap suit, shall we say, and didn't want to talk about it anymore because of what the CPS had said. Even though the vast majority of the convictions aren't related to that case, they say, I can't talk about any of it at all, or you'll end up in prison. That's what this one character said. But folded like a cheap suit, one of the mainstream media journalists. But I'll leave you to work out who that might be. But anyway, that's just my little joke. But yeah, that's what happened. But God, yeah, you don't know these days how much they want to control discussion. That's the way we're going, with the digital online bells to control. For our safety. It's always for our safety, isn't it? So it is all aligned with that, really. But you can see that they really want to. They would love to just stop all discussion about this between now and that retrial. And that's obviously what Andy's referring to as the retrial being like another nail in the coffin lid. Another nail. And this threat of contempt of court is to stop any murmurings or any outright criticism ongoing of the justice system, of the police, of the NHS, of those consultants, of Evans and his motley crew. He's a motley crew in and of himself, isn't he? But just to stop it all, because people say, well, they just said you can't talk about it. Well, talk about what? What? Nothing. Can't talk about convictions that have gone through a process, but of course, all over the world, actually, in this country, everywhere, the mainstream media keep writing stories about her, and these couple of fake news characters just won an award for their Lucy Letby trial podcast. They were given a nice little glass award, with a, how lovely, and then on Twitter they're getting all this kudos for it, and all the backslapping by the other journalists who don't want to look into this case at all. Not interested at all. Not interested in thinking about the possibility of a miscarriage of justice here. No critical thinking. But the awards are flowing, like I'm sure the champagne or the Asti Spumante was at the awards ceremony for that. I know I'm being a bit mean, but there you go. Yeah. Well, I think they're mean, and I think everyone who's responsible for monstering this innocent person and lying to the parents about what's happened to their children, they're more than mean. It's a moral. What could you say? It's iniquity, moral iniquity. I wasn't going to wrap it on for this long, but I did want to mention that about the reassessment of, the correction of what I've been saying, and I apologise again for giving the wrong information there, but it wasn't with any malice or a forethought or intent. It's just we're sort of learning as we go. I certainly am, because I'm a lay person. Anyway, I mean, Jesus Christ, if all these characters getting loads of money during that trial, and it's not about money, but what I'm saying, these professionals, and they're talking a load of crap most of the time, outright lying about things. And have a look at the latest Substack about. It's a part B on Baby G that Dr. McLachlan's done. Part B, where the baby has got obvious, quite serious constipation problems, and signs of infection, and has had this vaccination as Dr. McLachlan says, it's not made apparent from the medical notes he's read so far, or it's Dr. Brewery's testimony about what that vaccination was, but there are a number of types of vaccination, the side effects of which, as Dr. McLachlan explains, is projectile vomiting, which is what happens with that baby, is projectile vomiting. And there's a condition that one of the types of vaccines that are given, I won't go into all the details here, but you can read it, causes a condition which again, an intestinal condition which again can cause projectile vomiting among other symptoms. God, it's half an hour. I didn't realise it was going to go on. I could do with a drink. But it's intense, isn't it? The whole, God knows what's happening. God knows what's happening. Somebody mentioned in a comment under Dr. McLachlan's latest Substack about, is there a legal fund for funding the appeal, i.e., it's probably in the main funding the purchasing of experts' time and expertise, because that's what would be needed because that's what was missing in the first defence. But I did write a short email to Richard Thomas again, the solicitor for Lucy Letby, who I believe is still the same, is still representing her for the appeal, as is Ben Myers, I believe. That's as much as I know. And he wrote back within about 2 minutes, just one line, and I'm glad he wrote back quickly. He just said, I'd asked him, I said, are you conducting, or are you thinking of having any fundraising towards money that might be needed for an appeal? And he said no, that they're not involved in this matter meaning the appeal process. They are not personally involved, and that's all that was said. So I don't know. We don't know what the grounds are that they're going to bring, or that they have brought already in the application. They would have written them in already, wouldn't they? We don't know what those grounds are. And people on Twitter have said that, people with a legal background have said that if the application for leave to appeal is accepted, then we will be made aware, i.e. the public will be made aware, if we want to know it, of what those grounds are, of what they are, leading up to what will be the hearing for the appeal. So thanks. Sorry if I've rabbited on a bit too much. It was only meant to be 5 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully get some good news soon. And thanks for all your comments, and thanks for watching the videos, and we're just hoping for I know not everyone agrees, and some people write, there's someone that's spam every video saying Lucy Letby's guilty. Well, that's their freedom. That's the freedom to say that. I did 3 or 4 weeks ago delete 2 comments, and they were to do with me personally, and the idea that you've got some personal involvement and sort of making really quite horrible assertions. But people are free to say that they believe, obviously, that, and she has been found guilty at the trial, and people believe that, and many will continue to believe it. I don't believe it, of course, that Lucy Letby's guilty. I believe she's 100% innocent, and I just think the day will come when that is formally made the case. I mean, as Andrew Malkinson said when he was released, he said he hasn't been found innocent today when he was released, but he's always been innocent. That's the point. So when someone has always been innocent, it's not that the conviction's overturned, so now they're innocent. No, they've always been if they are innocent, then they've always been innocent. It's an obvious thing, but it's really important, I think, isn't it? Especially if you're the person that's been sent to prison and you haven't done anything wrong. And my thoughts go out to Lucy Letby and her family and friends, and to the parents who have lost children, and because they deserve the truth, obviously, don't they? There's never any disrespect meant to them, and I perhaps don't need to say that. Obviously not. I think that was another comment I deleted once, the idea that I'm trying... It's not... Nobody's burden and pain and suffering and bereavement is lessened by having someone innocent go to prison, and nobody would want that. It's what... This has happened because of those consultants, Evans and his rubber stampers, and the police and the judicial system. Elements of that. We don't really know exactly what... I'll leave that to have to do the trial one. Anyway, take care. All the best. Bye-bye.